When creating a card game, one of the most important things to be able to do is shuffle the cards before the game starts. This randomization is what gives the players a chance to beat each other and to have a unique game each round. Let's check out how to shuffle a deck of cards in Construct 3. I already have a deck of cards set up in the layout, but right now they don't do anything. Inside the card sprite, I've got two animations, one called down and one called up. The down animation has one frame with an image of the card facing down. The up animation has one blank frame, and then each of the cards laid out in order, 53 frames total. I've got the animation speed set to 0. So all we need to do is set the frame to 1 through 52 to get the card we need. In the layout, I've got two instances of the card sprite, one set to the down animation to represent the stack of cards. Next to it, I've got another instance of the card sprite set to the up animation on frame 0, the blank frame. As we go through the shuffled cards, we'll reveal them here. To do this, we're going to use two arrays, one for the unshuffled deck of cards and the other for the shuffled deck. I'm sure there's a way to do this with one array, but I like to use two arrays and keep them separate. So double-click anywhere in the layout and add an array. I'll call it ARR_cards. Add another array and call this one ARR_cards_shuffled. I'll set the width of the cards array to 52 and the width of the cards shuffled array to 0. The width is the length of the array, so setting the cards array to 52 gives us 52 spots to store a value in, one for each of our cards. Next, we're going to use functions to help us fire off the events required in shuffling the deck. Double-click the layout and add the function object. Also, let's add the keyboard object as well, so we can get some input for switching the cards. Okay, let's switch to the event sheet. The first thing we need to do is populate the cards array with the frame numbers for the cards. We'll do this inside a function called initDeck. Think of initDeck kind of like opening a new deck of cards. Add an event using the function object and select onFunction. Under name, put init_deck. The card images are on frames 1 through 52, so we need to create a loop that repeats 52 times. Right-click on the function event and add a sub-event using System, and then select For under Loops. The loop doesn't need a name, so we can leave that blank, and we want the loop to start from 1, so leave the start index as well. But change the end index to 52, so that this loop repeats 52 times. Now, when the initDeck function is called, this loop will run 52 times, once for each card. To set the frame numbers of the cards into the cards array, all we need to do is add an action. Using the cards array, and choose Set at X. When we created the for loop, it asked us for a loop index. The loop index is a counter that the engine uses to determine how many times the loop has repeated. But since the loop repeats 52 times, and the loop index starts from 1, we can use this number to populate the array. The array starts from 0, not 1, so we need to put loop index -1. Then, under Value, just enter loop index. Let's call this function at the start of the layout so we can see what's going on. I'll add an event using System on start of layout. Add action using the function object and select Call Function. Then, enter the name of the function we're calling, init_deck. Let's debug the layout and click on the cards array under System. Here, under Array Data, you can see 1 through 52 has been added to the cards array. Now we need to shuffle these and place them into the other array, Cards Shuffled. Let's add another function to do this. Add event, using the function object, and select onFunction. Set the name to shuffle_deck. When this function is called, I want to grab a random card from the cards array. We need to store this value in a variable, so right-click the event sheet and select Add Global Variable. And we'll call this variable Random Card. We only need the random card variable inside of the shuffleDeck function, so you can drag it down under the shuffleDeck function until the black line indents itself. If you place it here, it will be a local variable, only available inside this function. We need to loop through the deck to shuffle each card, so copy the loop event we made earlier by control-clicking and dragging until it's placed right underneath the variable we just created. Make sure it's indented the same way, and go ahead and delete the action. Add a new action, and choose the System object. Select Set Value under the Global and Local Variables category, and we'll choose our random card. First, we need the total number of cards in the deck, which is 52, but we're going to remove cards from this deck as we move them to the shuffled deck, so 52 won't always be the total number. To get the total number of cards left, we can use r_cards.width. Remember, width is the length of the array. Now we can use the random function to generate a random number between 0 and the number held in r_cards.width. But this random value is not a whole number. This can cause issues with rounding. Think about if we get a random value of 23.2. It will round down and give us card 23. If the random number was 23.6, it would round up and give us card 24. So to get a whole number, we need to wrap everything in the floor function, so everything will be rounded down, and we won't get any decimal points. All this is doing is grabbing a random number between 0 and the length of the array, or the number of cards we have left. Now we need to take this random card and put it inside the cards shuffled array. So add an action using the cards shuffled array. Under manipulation, we have an action called push that adds a new element to an array. Select push and set where to front. We can select the card we want to add by referencing the cards array and using a function called at. At gets the value stored at that index, and the index of the card is what we have stored in the random card variable, so we'll pass that into the at function. So we've grabbed a random card from the deck in the cards array and placed it into the cards shuffled array. All we need to do now is delete the card from the cards array so it won't be selected again. Add an action using the cards array, and this time choose delete under manipulation. With delete, we need to pass in the index of the element we're trying to delete, so we just need to enter the random card variable. That's it. Now we can shuffle the whole deck. By running this function, a random card will be selected, added to the cards shuffled array, and deleted from the cards array until there are no more cards to shuffle. I want to be able to show this happening, so I'm going to set up an event to fire off when I press the S key that will call the shuffleDeck function. Add an action using the function object, and select Call Function. Then enter the name of the function we're calling, shuffle_deck. Now, let's debug the layout. And I'll select the cards shuffled array. You can see there are 0 elements. If I switch over to the cards array, there are 52 elements. If I press the S key, the shuffleDeck function is run, and the cards array is emptied. In the cards shuffled array, there are 52 elements, and they're all randomized. Last, we need to display these to the layout one by one. Add an event using the keyboard object and choose On Key Pressed. I'll choose the spacebar and hit OK. In this event, I'm going to change the frame of the card's animation to the frame of the card we want. But we only want this to affect the blank card on the right. We don't want to change anything about the card on the left. So we want to only target the card object where the animation is set to up. Right-click the On Key Pressed event and select Add Another Condition. Select the card's object and choose Is Playing under the Animations category. Here, we can check if the card is playing the up animation. Now the event will fire off when we press the spacebar and only affect the card that's playing the up animation. Next, we'll set the frame to the card animation, add an action using the card sprite, and choose Set Frame. We need to grab the first index in the card shuffled array, so enter r_cards_shuffled, .@ and pass in 0. This will grab the first card in the deck, or the first index in the array, and set the up animation frame to match the card we selected. Last, we just need to remove that card from the array so we can move on to the next card if we press space again. Add another action using the card shuffled array and choose Pop. Pop removes an element from either the front or back of an array, and we want to remove the first card off the front of the array. That's it. If I preview the layout, the deck is automatically initialized. I'll press the S key to shuffle the deck, and then I'll press the spacebar to draw my first card. A 10. I can cycle through the whole deck and never get a repeated card. Being able to shuffle the deck is a vital part of creating any card game. By using this method, you can shuffle any deck of cards, or any array for that matter, and get a random game every time you play. This is a simple way to randomize the deck that's not truly completely random, but you can implement other randomizing algorithms if you put the time in to learn how they work. But this is a quick and easy solution that's perfect for most game developers.